Fishin Affliction. Hello.
Well, Mom and Dad's grab the kids, it's time for the fishing show. Me and old Rusty's gonna go catch 'em down at the fishing hole. Well, you better stick around, cause you don't know what you're missing. Yeah, me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Grab your hats, grab your baits, don't forget your poles. We're gonna fire up that old Ranger boat and head to the fishing hole. We're gonna try to catch a biggin', yeah, that's what we're wishing. Cause me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Yeah, me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Yeah. Man, and we've got it bad.
Just like me. Here, fishy, fishy here, fishy, fishy here.
Well, folks, welcome into the very first episode of Season 3 Big Dog. We're kicking off in some unbelievable style because we got a great, unique trip that you get to experience after I've been recovering from my surgery that you told people about. I am doing better, had some sinus surgery, had some issues from that, and I'm recovering, doing well, and the Big Dog is taking up the slack by having a great trolling trip on
Dale Hollow.
And who'd you go with?
Dave Clark. I'm gonna tell you guys, this was a fun trip. It's a relaxing trip, and everybody knows. I mean, we've been in the dog days of summer. We've been 100 degrees. So when you can go do, you know, something that's. It ended up raining that day. We were out, you know, where it was a little bit foggy that morning, so it was a little bit cooler down there. And just to be honest, it was a nice break.
Just totally different than anything that we've been able to do this year, and have some great results. You told me you got some, not only some smallmouth, but you got into some trout.
Oh, rainbow trout. Now this guy catches a little bit of everything, but he's really good at catching giant trout. And we had one on, we didn't get him in the boat. We did end up catching, I think, 8 rainbows that day. We caught 4 smallmouth that probably averaged 4 pounds apiece. And since I've gotten back down here, he's caught one that was 7 pounds. I mean, this guy is really good at what he does, and you're really going to enjoy this.
We're going to be putting up Dave's information through this episode. Make sure you get a hold of David at this place down there at Dale Hollow. Is it the Horse Creek area that you went to?
Horse Creek, yeah. And I'm going to tell you, there's a great little place to stay there at Horse Creek. You can, they've got some little rooms that they rent. Now, these are fisherman places. I wouldn't take Mama there for a weekend unless she's just really into fishing. But these are kind of fisherman cabins, about $35 a night for 2 guys. You can't beat that, man. That's awesome. Really reasonable in this day and time, because normally they're what, $60, $70
at a world-class fishery to catch big rainbows, big smallmouth, and have them all trolling.
And it's one of the prettiest lakes in the state.
Unbelievable. Well, with that said, let's get into the show. You're in for a treat today. The Big Dog and Dale Hollow doing some trolling for some big rainbow and some big smallmouth.
What are you doing, man?
I'm getting ready to set some lines here. We're going to do a little trolling on Dale Hollow Lake today for some smallmouth. Hopefully some trout and some walleye too, maybe. If we're lucky, a muskie.
We've been talking about it all year, haven't we?
Yep. I'm glad y'all can finally make it up here.
Well, we're in the heat of summer, so the largemouth have gone extremely deep, but you've said the smallmouth have gone really deep, haven't you?
Oh yeah. We've been catching them anywhere from 30 feet down to about 70 foot.
That's deep.
Yeah, it's a little deeper than most people look for them. What we're doing now is we're setting some crankbaits, some Series 6 XD Strike King lures. Those XDs are supposed to get super deep.
And you're using the planer boards to get it away from the boat, right?
Yeah, that, and also to spread out the presentation so we can run more than just 1 or 2 of them and get them to where they're not right on top of each other. So this planer board, I'll pull it on out to the side here. I'm going to set it in this rod holder right over here behind you. I'll go out a little bit further and grab the next one. Here we got the the Series 6 XD. This is the Tennessee shad color, perhaps.
Yeah.
Let's stop this here if it gets far enough. No, what happens here when we get a fish on, you'll see two different things. First thing, you'll hear this line going out because I've got the drag super light. And secondly, you'll see that planer board start moving behind the boat. We'll go ahead and set one out on this side.
And this water up here, it is crystal clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. So we're running these lines about 200 feet behind the boat, and that's also to achieve the maximum depth of the lure and to, to get it down deep where the fish are at, and to get it away from the boat. So if they've been spooked by the movement of the boat, they, it's really hard for them to relate a bait that's 200 feet behind the boat and out to the side like that with the actual boat. So we get a lot of hookups with this method. With these sort of lures we've caught, we'll catch a lot of smallmouth, but we'll catch trout too. We catch some walleyes, and every once in a while we do catch muskies on them. Usually they like a little bit bigger lure.
And we're going to use a variety of baits today anyway.
Oh yeah, we're going to use some sexy spoons and use some divers and some downriggers to get them down deep. So you seen any bait on the graph yet? Looks like it's holding about, what's that, about 35 foot, 37 foot. That's about where the thermocline's probably set up right now. So that's where we'll find most of the smallmouth there and below that.
Well, folks, if you're like me, you can tell that this David Clark knows his stuff. Unbelievable knowledge base, and that's just in this first little part here of just getting set up to get ready to catch these fish on Dale Hollow. This is going to be extra interesting to me because of my surgery. I did not make this trip, so I'm watching it for the first time just like you are. This is great, and in a minute we'll be back with Dave, the big dog, and his son Luke out in the wilds of Dale Hollow. But right now, let's go see some pictures from this week's
In the Wild, your pictures in the wild, brought to you by the Boat Doctors, before and after. Awesome.
Well, folks, what happened on July 17th down there in Waverly, Tennessee at Mason's Boat Dock? Well, the pictures are going to show you something unbelievable. This is Tom Hammond's 12-pound, 11-ounce Kentucky Lake Giant that he caught while fishing in the Hickman County Bass Club tournament there. Unbelievable, folks. People are talking about this fish because, well, isn't that a great reason to talk about it? Have you ever seen one like that? Not many folks have. Tom, congratulations. What an unbelievable fish. And caught and released, folks. Send your pictures to us at pics@fishandaffliction.com, and be sure to visit the picture galleries at fishandaffliction.com, and maybe you'll see those great pictures right here on the big screen.
In the Wild, your pictures in the wild, brought to you by the Boat Doctors, before and after. Awesome.
It's kind of like this, all over, like that.
Maybe kind of like if you kind of steady, and if you pop it a little bit,
There's no way I'm going to do that.
I believe it's like this.
yeah, it's kind of like this.
It's like this. Then it's going like this.
No way.
Kind of like this.
The sexy swimmer, it's got action you can't believe until you see it.
I'm kind of liking this.
Smyrna Ready Mix is a Christian-based company that handles business daily with integrity and professionalism. Whether you're a general contractor, a professional home builder, or a do-it-yourself homeowner, SRM has all your concrete solutions. With several locations in the Middle Tennessee area to service you, SRM offers a wide variety of concrete mix designs, admixtures, reinforcing products, aggregates, and much more to meet the requirements of any construction project that you have. From the biggest to the littlest, SRM is here to service you with unmatched quality and service. SRM, serving you with integrity and professionalism.
tournament trail for those who've got it bad. Brought to you by SRM, Smyrna Ready Mix, serving you with professionalism and integrity.
Folks, here's the tournament trail results for Flipper's Bull Creek tournament held on August 22nd, 2010. First place with 13.45 pounds went to the team of Belton and Driver. Second place with 12.15 pounds went to the team of Culberson and Isham. Now, first big fish was caught by Mr. Tim Hurd, and it weighed 5.05 pounds. And second big fish weighed 4.70 pounds, caught by Mr. Gary Klaus. Great fishing, guys, and congratulations, and thanks to Flippers for that information. Folks, you can send your tournament results to info@fishandaffliction.com, and be sure to check out our ever-growing tournament archives at fishandaffliction.com. And thank you also to Smyrna Ready Mix for sponsoring the tournament trail. And now, back to Fishin' Affliction. Well, folks, there's going to be no doubt that this particular episode is going to be a lot about setting up for trolling on Dale Hollow Lake, and Dave Clark is the man to express it and show you how to do it. So let's hear from him so we can learn how to do this the way it should be done.
Now, I know I hear you talk about the getting down under the light, and you're talking about the amount of light penetration in the water, correct?
Yes, sir. It penetrates down to about, all the divers tell me, down to between 40 and 50 foot is when it starts to get where you can't see as well. So the smallmouth during the day, especially when the sun gets all the way up, they like to head down there at about that level.
Well, we're actually catching a good morning because we've got a lot of cloud cover. You know, maybe got a chance of rain today, and it's been just hot bluebird days, so
yeah, it should be a good day. We'll get a little break from the temperature. Our next presentation we're going to put out is we're going to use a sexy spoon pulled behind a diver. Diver acts kind of like a lip on a crankbait, and it'll help pull this spoon down, because without a diver here, this spoon's just going to go along the top. But with a diver, we could get it down to 60, 70 feet. Today, we're going to try to get it down to about 30, 35.
And you've got line counters on all your rods, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. And that's just that's important to allow you to return to the same depth where you're catching fish. So say if I put this out 100 feet and it gets it down to 30 foot in depth, we start catching fish at that depth. I want to be able to return to that exact 100 feet. And that takes all the guesswork out of it.
Folks, Dave Clark, he's got the knowledge base that's just unbelievable, and there's so much going on. Let's take a moment for these Strike King bait facts as to stay with ourselves with all this stuff that's going on. The guys are trolling Series 6 XDs and sexy spoons near the thermocline, which is about 35 feet or so down. Now, the next thing we need to know is how to handle these rods when one of these Dale Hollow fish decide to eat one of those Strike King baits.
The first thing we look for when we get a strike on these planer boards is you'll hear the drag go out. There's kind of a clicker alarm on the reel to let you know when line's coming out of it. We can turn that off when we're fighting fish, so you don't have to listen to it. But it kind of lets you know if a little line starts going out with it. And you'll see those two planer boards. They're both reacting to the same conditions, so they're doing the same thing. One of them starts doing something different, then you know you got a fish on it. So I'm going to set 2 on this other side, and then we'll start messing with these downriggers.
Here's the captain.
For the moment, anyway.
We got Luke up real early. When we're done, how many rods will we have out?
On Dale Hollow, you're only legally allowed to run 3 rods per person, so we're going to run 9 rods off of here. 9 rods with probably 12 baits on them. And we'll spread this presentation out. Hopefully we'll do pretty good.
Well, now you fished last what? Saturday was the last day you fished?
Yes, sir. We did pretty good. We got I think we ended up with 18 rainbow trout and 7 good smallmouth, the biggest one being about 23 inches, and we had 4 that were over 21 inches. So that's a pretty good day, but they're growing big in Dale Hollow, so that's really not that uncommon.
Folks, I'm such a firm believer in having this knowledge base in place to understand the procedures and the techniques needed to do this type of fishing. This is an extraordinary type of fishing that takes such precision, and Dave Clark is an absolute master of that. And he's able to explain this with an understanding that will make sense to both you and I. And he's done a great job getting us prepared to catch a fish, which I'm ready to see what it's like to catch one trolling on Dale Hollow. And wouldn't you know, who was the first one to get to the planer board? Captain Luke Rust.
You want to start reeling it in real slowly towards the boat. I'm going to slow the boat down, son. Once we get the planer board up to the boat, I'm going to take that planer board off of there, then it'll just be you and the fish. So it's a slow, steady retrieve till we get that board off. And what'll happen is I'll have to step out in front of you, and you'll have to step back so I can get to the board out there at the end of the tip. Now, to get that out of the water, what you want to do is you can lift that tip up a little bit, and when it gets closer to the boat, you'll reel real fast and lower that tip down, and then you'll raise it up out of the water. And don't let it touch the water again after you raise it up out of there, because it'll try to act like a diver on you. Does it feel pretty solid?
I wouldn't know. I never done this before.
It's the first, huh? Okay, now lower that tip real fast. And then you're going to want to raise it up, pull up all the way, and keep it up. Don't let it touch you. You know, step back so I can get out in front of you here. Well, just step down on the floor if you can.
Well, we got to take the planer board off.
Okay, and then it's just you and the fish at that point.
And we're not shutting the boat down, guys, because you can't with this many rods out. But this is it looks like a pretty solid fish.
All right, ready to reel. Move these rods out of the way, so when it gets back here, sometimes they go a little bit crazy. We get the net ready. See him yet? The diver will pop up first. Now that one's got that diver out in front of it. Get the spoon down. Was that the diver that came out of the water, or just the fish? All right, my back turned for a minute. Get it for you. Okay, what do we got here? Smallmouth, not a real big one, but it's a nice one. Good starting fish.
All right.
Well, folks, Captain Luke Rust is on the board with the first smallmouth of the day on Dale Hollow. And when we come back, we're going to see this fish a little bit more up close as we continue to troll Dale Hollow with Dave Clark, the Big Dog, and Captain Luke Rust. But right now, folks, let's go see what Miss Vic's got cooking this week.
In the Skillet with Chef Vicki Porter is brought to you by Pt.1, turning your precious memories into video treasures.
Welcome to In the Skillet. I'm Vicki Porter, and today I have a really quick, simple, and delicious recipe for roasted okra. And now for the ingredients. You will need fresh okra sliced about 1/3 inch thick, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of seasoning salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic pepper, and cooking spray. In a bowl, mix together your olive oil. Next, add your garlic pepper. And last, add your seasoning salt. And now mix that all together. After you sprayed your cookie sheet with cooking spray, add your okra. Now put this in the oven and bake it on 425 for 10 to 15 minutes. After 15 minutes in the oven, you'll be ready to enjoy this wonderful, delicious roasted okra. You can find this recipe at fishandaffliction.com. I'm Vicki Porter. Tune in next week to see what's cooking in the skillet.
Hey, what do you think about these? Shaw Grigsby likes these, but Denny Brower looks awesome in these. You know, a lot of people don't know that Strike King is the #1 importer of packaged polarized sunglasses in the whole entire country. I've seen Mark Davis wear these, and I like them a lot. They're awesome. But you know what? Me, I have got to have my monsters.
Got it bad? Want it bad?
Folks, if you've got it bad and you want it bad, you can own any episode of Fishin' Affliction for just a low price of $5. That's right, $5 for any of your favorite Fishin' Affliction episodes. And if you want them all, then we've got a great deal for you. The entire collection of Season 1 or Season 2 on DVD for only $19.95. That's right, folks. The entire collection of either Season 1 or Season 2 in a beautifully packaged DVD box set for only $19.95. The season of your choosing for only $19.95. To purchase this great deal or any individual show of Fishin' Affliction, go to our website at www.fishinaffliction.com to the online store for this incredible offer. Single episodes for $5 or the complete box set of Season 1 or Season 2 for only $19.95. Fishin' Affliction for those who've got it bad.
Still a decent one. I'd say was probably about 17.
This segment of Fishin' Affliction is brought to you by Deca Batteries and Kistler Rods. Fishing never felt so good.
If y'all would turn around here with the fish when you can, and yeah, that's a good solid smallmouth. Hold it up there, Luke.
That's actually a smaller end one for Del Hollow, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good solid fish, you know, good 3 1/4, 3.5 pound smallmouth. But on this lake, they've got to be 21 inches, don't
21 inches to keep, so we're going to have to let that one go, although we usually let them all go in Del Hollow.
All right, there's the first one. Luke took the first one. And that one hit the safety spoon.
Yeah, pull behind the diver, which will help you get it down, like brands like Dipsy Diver and Jet Diver. There's a bunch of different ones that you can use to achieve depth with a spoon. Another way to get a spoon down is just putting some weight out in front of it.
Yeah. Well, you know what's worried me about this whole situation here? There wasn't nobody driving this boat.
Well, we were only doing 1 mile per hour, so we didn't have too much to fear. Get it back up.
Now we're starting to break light, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of kind of where we're at, man. It's gorgeous out here.
Well, Captain Luke has caught the first fish trolling. That's awesome. And the big dog wanted me to tell you about Horse Creek Marina, where they went out of. It's one of the few marinas that still allow you to launch your boat for free. They got a great facility there, and folks, when you're down there in that area, consider using the Horse Creek Marina. Still able to launch your boat for no charge. Now the big dog knew that if he was going to catch a fish trolling with Captain Luke in the boat, he better be first to the pole. And this time he was.
Got a good one on there. That's a good bit bigger, I'd say. Going into the wind, so I'm gonna have to drive a little bit here. Probably a big smallmouth on that sexy spoon. They'll like it. They pulled it underwater?
No, I've just seen it move.
No, it might have come off the cliff. The planer board, sometimes when they come off the cliff, they'll so what's happened is that planer board slid on down to the fish, is what I'm guessing. So you're going to end up having to fight the planer board too, but that happens sometimes. Big fish sometimes will rip them off of there. I'm going to neutral it out for a minute, make it a little easier. Does it feel pretty heavy?
It feels like it's, you know.
Well, you're pulling that planer board too. See, normally,
maybe real big hard run.
On that first smallmouth, we were able to get the planer board to the boat, you know, and get it off of there, so it's just you and the fish. But that one actually came loose, and it's sliding down to the fish. So there's the board. Is it still on there? It's on the diver. The fish will be right behind there. Let's see. Get out here in front of you. Catch that fish when it comes up. What you got there? It's still pulling down. It doesn't want to come up. It's a nice volume, a little bit bigger. Oh, got it in that spot. Yeah, that's a bigger smallie there on that sexy spoon. Yeah, they like this. They like this gold one with a little bit of red on it. Smallies really like this color.
Well, that's a good solid smallmouth.
Yeah, it's a little bit bigger than that last one. You want to take the smallie from me? I got a steer real quick. You got it? Yeah. Wind straight. You got it. That's a good job. Thanks, man. Let me get this planer board up out of the water. Got it. All right. Yeah, that's a little bit nicer. Look at the pretty color on that one.
Yeah, that's a good solid smallmouth. And probably getting close to a keeper fish right there.
Yeah, I'd say so. That one's probably 19 or 20 inches. We can make fish, but I'll probably just let him go. Okay, I'm going to take over driving for a minute.
All right, now I'm going to let this one go. Back here. And I'm not jumping out of the boat, guys. I'm stepping down on this rear. Let me go.
There he goes.
Another big smallmouth.
Yeah, they definitely like that gold color sexy spoon in here.
All right, now you want me to set the diver back?
Well, Big Dog, great episode. Can't wait to see what the rest of this show looks like next week.
It's fun, I'm going to tell you, and Luke had an absolute blast. In fact, Luke ended up catching a lot of the fish, especially for some reason he was the one that went out in the rain when it was pouring down. I don't know how I got left out of that.
You know, I'm thinking that somebody was taking more of a approach of this as a vacation as opposed to an actual fishing trip. Well,
it was an actual fishing trip, but someone has to run the camera.
They do. Folks, tune in next week to see the rest of this great trolling trip on Dale Hollow with the Big Dog and David and Luke. And thank you for tuning in to this week to
Fishing Affliction.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in this week to Fishin' Affliction. We sincerely appreciate your time. And thank you so much to our sponsors as they keep us going. Be sure to tune in next week to Fishin' Affliction because there's no doubt.
Yeah, me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Grab your hats, grab your baits, don't forget your poles. We're gonna fire up that old Ranger boat and head to the fishing hole. We're gonna try to catch a biggin', yeah, that's what we're wishing. Cause me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Yeah, me and old Rusty's got that fishing affliction. Yeah. Man, and we've got it bad.
Rusty's catching today. I'll bet you anything. Here, watch it. You'll hit a striking bait. Let's go.
Ain't nothing safe around me.